What's going on, everybody? This is Mazique, aka UniqueMazique, the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and I'm waving my microphone. I took it off of here, so in case y'all was wondering what that was, I thought that sound looked a little weird, me doing this. So I thought I'd explain it. All right, this is Ask Us, bro, and you might want to ask us why I was waving that microphone, but don't worry about it. How y'all doing? We are gonna get into some of these questions. You guys, I'm gonna tell you guys, I want to challenge you guys. Can we get some strong questions? A lot of them,
You sound like you're judging our audience, Brian.
I'm not judging the audience. I just want some more questions. Like, we only had 3 questions to go through today. And like we are leaving it all on like Dope D and Kerry Williams and Mr. 1989 to supply all the questions. uh, you know, I want y'all to come through with some stuff to make me go, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna jump into these questions right now. And the first one comes from my man, Mr. 1989, and his name is Michael Rigsby Jr. And he says, can you potentially see the LeBron James way to handle business in the NBA eventually having, if not already, the same effect that Floyd Mayweather way has had on boxing? So I'm going to say what I think he's saying here, right? So hopefully I think I'm on the right track. Floyd really took the whole self-promotion thing in boxing to another level. Obviously, Muhammad Ali is who created it. Floyd took it to another level. Floyd has a way now of, well, essentially of he sets his own rules. He chooses the opponent he's going to have. He controls everything because he has in a lot of ways earned this amount of leverage, right? And I think the parallel that Mike is drawing is that LeBron controls a lot of things in terms of picking the team he wants to play for and having some level of input in regards to who his teammates are and so on and so forth. So, is that the understanding that you got from that question, Nelson?
It's tough because the situation that Floyd is in, right? It's a highly individualized sport. So
Absolutely.
this is more comparable to say if Serena Williams um, took off and was, or Tiger Woods, who's another comparison. If there's a talent drought around them, these like individual sport people, the opportunities that they have explodes, and we've seen it with all three of those people. In the NBA, it's a different relationship because the bigger the individual players gets to date, the bigger the sport gets, right?
Mhm.
So for me, the first time I recognized individual players was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson
Mhm.
in terms of them being on commercials and taking over. It's a name you heard all the time. Then the next time was obviously Michael Jordan. Then you
Mhm.
got Shaq and Kobe and Iverson and LeBron, right? In terms of the absolute top of the line biggest names, those are the ones off the top of my head that were like the biggest.
Right.
And in basketball, each of those players made the sport bigger. It never took over the sport. It never even threatened to take over the sport. The sport just kept expanding. So I don't think it's really comparable.
Yeah. I don't think it's comparable for a lot of the same reasons that you presented. We're talking about a individual sport where the matchmaking, which I think is a big part of what we're talking about, is not really governed or standardized. You know, there's a negotiation that has to take place before Floyd fights anybody. There's no major governing body that says, oh, where if you are the champion. I mean, championships are absolute in these team sports, and they're not absolute in boxing. And because a person can be the most powerful and the most influential and even be viewed as the best fighter without actually having a championship. And that doesn't exist in team sports. And because of that, the whole balance of power, the whole process is different, right? Floyd has become Floyd has done a lot for fighter income. You know, as far as fight, and I think this might be the parallel that Mike is trying to draw, because Floyd has done so much for fighter income. Like fighters make more money now than they used to make, for the most part. Especially not the lower end guys, but the higher end guys, right? In terms of demand and that sort of thing. And then you see a lot of people trying to emulate his way of selling a fight. So, and I think what he's saying is, well, LeBron choosing teams and the whole super team dynamic. I think he's kind of tying that into LeBron. And if you're so powerful, if you're so influential as an NBA star, then flex that muscle. But I really think it's really, really a loose comparison and very difficult to say these two things are similar in any way. If any way they're similar, there's just two there. It's an example of two athletes using the leverage that their athleticism and fame affords them. I think
And
that.
even within that, LeBron is working within the collective bargaining rules that other people negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't change the game. He changed how the game was used.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and even within that, I think he affects such a small population of NBA personnel that I can't co-sign it. Whereas with boxing, there's only so many individual boxers on the at the I'm going to be on TV level.
Right.
There are hundreds of NBA players who are going to be on TV.
Right. I mean,
Like,
it
you
is.
know,
Yeah.
and out of those hundreds, I mean, literally only roughly 30 are all stars. Um, slide a guy in and out based on uh,
Right. That
injury
year. Yeah.
that year, right? But you have roughly 30 to 40 all stars, so roughly 10% of the base is all stars. But amongst the all stars, then you have all star starters, which now we're down to 3% of the entire, less than that maybe, of the entire NBA group. So yeah, I don't think it directly translates because there are just too many guys that fill out an NBA roster that have tremendous local value. And we just talked about Mitchell Robinson, who's a rookie who probably not going to be all first team rookie or anything like that. And we know his name because that's how valuable each NBA player is.
Mm-hmm.
And in New York, he has that value. LeBron, I don't think is changing anything for guys like that. Not to the level that Floyd is.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that as well. Um, so yeah, like I said, I think it is a loose comparison at best. So let's move on to the next question. It comes from my man Kerry Williams, and he says, why doesn't NBA 2K make my team an offline mode once they turn off the servers? I would invest more money into the my team mode if I could go back a year or two from now and play with my cards and replay the challenges in domination mode, but no servers, no my team each year.
How are you going to invest money into a game that don't have servers?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm saying.
The
Like
servers, if the servers are off, you can't pay for it.
you can't pay for it, man. And to be honest, like a lot of times, man, I I think people don't really take into consideration how niche their requests are, you know, because a lot of times these things that people are requesting, there's like you and 10 other people who would even do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to think this is a humongous company making decisions for over 10 million customers. The resources and concepts that it would take to do something like that for such a small demographic wouldn't even be a smart thing for them to do. I mean, and like Nelson said, there's no way for you to invest more money in something if it's an offline. Like, where are you paying it to? How are they getting it, and how are they? I don't, maybe you mean you buy the game. I don't know, but No, I don't think that they should make it offline. I mean, my team is just an online mode. It just is an online mode. That's just it. You know, we're not gonna always be able to contort every piece of thing into exactly what we wanted. If you want to play in my team, you got to play it online. That's just what it is. Because there's enough offline features to me to the point where you don't need to necessarily do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, for people who want the offline experience, it's the roster. What you're looking for is more roster customization options
Mhm.
and suites and ways to play the game that you would like. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want Isaiah Thomas with Hall of Fame limitless range in an offline mode. So
Yeah, because I'd probably change that. Well, no, Isaiah Thomas with Hall of Fame bruiser is what
yeah,
he has.
Bruiser. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty something. All right. So the next question also comes from Kerry, and he says, "What do you think about 2K making a game with the Big 3 league? I think it would be better than NBA 2K Playgrounds too." Um, I think those are actually two totally different games. I think like Playgrounds is like a complete arcade style game, and Big 3 wouldn't be a playground game. It's actually a simulation. It's just a 3-on-3 simulation. Um, I don't think the Big 3 is a game that would have a lot of appeal to a lot of people unless they got Kobe. Like I think and I still don't know that because you can play with Kobe in 2K, and I don't. Young people don't like playing with old people. Like I mean, that's just. I mean, they like a legend here or there, but if that's the only thing in the game is to play with old people, I
So I'm gonna come at this from a slightly different angle. And I don't like answering this, and I don't like giving away stuff for free. But licensing would have to take care of itself. This is easy. What I think the ideal use of Big 3 would be as an event, a licensed event that mirrored the presentation of the Big 3. See, the Big 3 by the year looks like it's going to keep getting better.
mhm,
I actually rather enjoy the Big 3 from a entertainment standpoint.
mhm.
I think it's pretty solid, and the better it gets, the more I like it. So I say this in anticipation of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the Big 3 being better than them. I know people who will watch, 5 hours straight of Big 3 before they watch 35 minutes of the WNBA,
Mhm.
right? So when you talk about putting stuff in the game that people like and that could help the game, I think the Big 3 fits in because the park needs a prestige mode very, very bad. They did a good job this year of adding events to the park, but ultimately, the Big 3 environment is the simulation tournament answer for the park. Now, they don't have to license the Big 3. They can do their own version, but if the Big 3 figures out its presentation, I would imagine that it would be so useful for the Big 3 that the deal that they would cut would be it would be beneficial for both sides. Because you get personalities like Ice Cube and whoever else they have doing commentary and analysis and all that other stuff. It's just more talent that you have access to, and more uniforms you have access to, more stuff you could throw VC on. So I think ultimately having the Big 3 participate in the end game for the playground would be great. A separate game? No, there's no reason for a separate game because there's no competitor for 2K in the 3-on-3 online space for basketball. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see, like I know that the Big 3 has approached 2K, and I think they mentioned that they had been approached by a gaming studio about a game. But I'm thinking we're looking at something more like a free to play or a 1999 style game or something like that that is not a fully fleshed out game. I'm just telling you, man. Like,
If I was the Big 3 and I had any kind of video gaming connections, I would be looking to be the Fortnite to 2K's PUBG.
absolutely.
Go free to play,
Hmm.
have it be accessible, use your license, use some of those players, use your personalities, but have people have a 3-on-3 space that they could invest in with the Big 3 rules, the Big 3 presentation, and just iterate that, make it fun, make it awesome, and be a direct competitor just to that one part. Because the reason it's so hard to compete with 2K is because it's a ginormous game
Yes.
with so many good modes,
Hmm.
right? There are some people who only play MyTeam thoroughly satisfied. They're angry but satisfied.
Yep.
Same thing with Park. Same thing with Pro Am. Same thing with My League. Same thing with online. Uh, what you call
Play now online.
Play Now Online, right? So each of these modes is an entire video game unto itself. If you're trying to compete, you do not have to take them all on at the same time. Just take on that one mode and go with that. And you can, and everybody could win because 2K, they get a competitor and they're going to learn stuff from that. But the player base might find a game where they have the same thing with Fortnite and PUBG, where they might find themselves spending the time there rather than in the park.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I would agree. I don't. I think free to play is the best way for them to go. I think free to play is the best way for a lot of these games to go at this point. I think the success model has been proven, and you just got to bring it though. You can't have free to play crash,
Mm-hmm.
free to play trash. But if you got free to play quality, I almost think it raises the possibility of success because you are almost ensuring a buy-in at a high level because people want to play things that are free just automatically, and if it's good, they'll stay. So yeah, that's it though. But that's like I said, that's all the questions that we have this week. I want to urge you guys to get questions in, shoot them to us at me bro, and use the hashtag ask us bro, and we'll get those questions in. We'll answer them on the show. But that's all we have for today. And like always, we appreciate you watching. God bless and peace.